guitar class. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to change the strings on a nylon string guitar. So I'm just going to get you this nice camera angle right here so we can see. All right, so one of the first things that I want to do is I'm going to take the tuning pegs over here and I'm going to really just kind of turn down. I'm going to tune down the strings to loosen the tension. My preferred method for tuning these guitars is cutting off all the strings at the same time. Now when you do that, you want to make sure that your saddle and nut don't fall off. Sometimes, well, definitely the saddle, but sometimes the nut as well. These are not attached to the instrument, they are floating. So we just have to be careful to make sure that these don't get affected. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all of these off one at a time. All right, then when I'm done with that, you should see that you have a whole mess of string hair over here and then a whole mess of string hair over there. So what we're going to do is unwind those. What we're going to do is put those off to the side to wait for us for proper disposal later. So I'm just going to lay those over here, off to the side for now, and I'll get back to you guys later to dispose of you. Alright, and now we can do the same process at the top of the guitar. We're going to go through and just start taking all of these strings out. I'm going to get you this angle over here so you can see what I'm doing. Great. Okay, so sometimes based on how these are wound or double wound or not, you have to loosen and pull them through. And even if that means that you have to twist the tuning knob, not that I'm tuning the guitar, but I'm just getting the line or the hole lined up with the string so that I can pull the string through. And sometimes some strings are a little more firm, which is a good problem to have while playing, because it means the string isn't going anywhere. But of course, as you can see, you can make it just a little bit challenging to get the string out later when you want to restring it. Now, chances are you're probably restringing the guitar because you have broken a string, in which case most of this has already been done because the string is broken. But if you're like me, or really any professional musician, you're going to change your strings frequently because it actually sounds better. Newer strings have a brighter, crisper resonation. Strings do have a lifetime. They get dull over it from use. The natural oils in the fingers get into the strings, especially these nylon ones. Well, I shouldn't say that especially. They do for the steel strings as well, for electric and acoustic. So if you have a preference to that kind of sound, the sound of new strings, you'll want to change them frequently. How often do I change my strings? I change the strings on all of my instruments every 2 weeks. And that is with playing them every day. If I'm not playing the instrument every day, then I might wait a little bit longer to change it. But these guys, I play them every day. So, okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and line these up so that the holes are facing the top. That's just going to facilitate the process for when I want to put the strings through them going to make it easier for stringing the guitar. Now, at this point, before I get into that, this is a really great opportunity to wipe down the fretboard, clean it up a little bit, treat the wood. So you want a rag, you want some lemon oil. I'm going to go ahead and dampen this a bit. That much, maybe a little bit more. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to rub down the fingerboard, the fretboard, all the way up. So we can make sure it's nice and treated. It's good for the wood. Okay. You can wipe down the other parts, not that it's going to do anything for the guitar itself, but just to clean it up. All right, so we can set our rag away. Go ahead and put away the lemon oil. Grab your trusty pack of strings. And take those out. And then each string usually is numbered. If it doesn't tell you what string it's on, the coding will be associated with the directions on the back. In this particular one, you should be able to see that it says there, first string, and it says that for each string throughout. So now I'm going to take my pack for the first string. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And here's where the nylon string guitars are a little bit tricky. Unlike electric or acoustic steel string guitars, there's no ball end. They do make ball end nylon string guitars, so if you happen to get those, you're in good shape. But the traditional strings, they don't have that. So what we have to do is we have to tie them. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one string through here, the spot for the first string. We're going to grab a little bit of the length. Now what we're going to do is we're going to loop it twice. So watch carefully. What we do is we put it underneath the string. Then we tie it under. Then we tie it under again. Hold it down and pull it tight. And then what you should see there is that the string made a double loop. After we've made the double loop, pull the string up to the area of the first string. Now our thinner strings, we can double loop them, and we're going to do that. So I'm going to slide the string through the hole. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back up through the space, this empty space right there. Pull it nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through the hole again. And on a nylon string guitar, I should be able to do that for all of the strings, maybe with the exception of the 3rd and 6th. Depends on the size gauge of the strings. And at this point, this is when I use the winder to tune it quickly. And now I'm not actually going to tune yet. I just want to get the strings on first. Okay, so we save tuning because you hear that it's nylon is going to fall out of tune. Okay. So stretching the strings is going to be a necessity when it comes time for tuning them. Okay. What I'm going to do now is the 6th string, just to make sure that my saddle stays into place, because sometimes the saddle can come loose. So what I want to do is get that in place. Now, if this doesn't rip as it should, you can go and use a thing like that for help. Put that aside. Okay, now 6th string, same process. Put the string through the loop. You might be able to see this one a little bit more clear because of the density of the string. So we get a little bit of length, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under the string, underneath it. do is loop it under. See how I looped it under? Right? And then I'm going to loop it under again. Now what I want is this part over here to meet the back side over there. So I'm going to hold it down, and as I hold it down, I'm going to pull and stretch so that it looks like that nice double loop. We're tying it. Don't be afraid to pull at the string to tie it. Now the 6th string is too thick to put through the loop twice. So what we have to do here to really make sure it stays in tune, doesn't fall out of tune, is make sure that we leave a little bit of slack, meaning some space like this, so it comes up in the air. And now we're going to tune it, and I really prefer to use this part. But it's important to hold it as well to make sure the string doesn't fall out of place. So I tune. Once I get a little bit of slack going, it's a little tight. Now what I can do is now you can hear, because it's nylon, it falls out of tune much faster than the other kinds of strings, the steel strings. So when we tune the nylon strings as they're new, what we do is we stretch them out a little bit like this. Listen to the pitch. Hear how that went down just by stretching? So we can stretch it out as we go. That's why I put all the strings on first, because stretching and tuning, it's going to take a while by itself. It's a whole process, right? When you put on a new set of strings. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this. If you want a review of it, just rewind the video. I showed you how to do the 1st string. I showed you how to do the 6th string. Try and double loop it if you can at the top in the headstock. If you can't, don't worry. Do what I did with the 6th string. Leave some room, some slack, so that it has enough space to wrap around a few times up here. Once you get into the tuning portion of the instrument, you have to stretch it a little bit, because it will continue to fall out of tune over the course of maybe a couple days before it settles into tune. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this now.